Welcome everybody. It's a great morning, I would say. Saturday, so we're a little relaxed. You don't have to rush back to the office. And definitely, I do see this session going to be more interactive towards the end now after my session. I had initially decided to just have a session which is interactive, and because I was told that I have only 5 minutes for the presentation, because this panel had something like 8 to 9 people to participate. So my presentation in any case is very brief for that matter, so we will be spending more time discussing, and I would be more than happy trying to take up queries. Is it coming or... Yeah. I, in fact, would like to mention, there have been excellent presentation by the first two speakers, mainly trying to give you a very good idea about what's cloud computing, what are the benefits per se, and in fact, in terms of infrastructure as a service, which was a term which was used. Just 1 second. I would like to know whether I'm getting the... Okay. Otherwise, I thought, let me just say. So if you see, like infrastructure as a service, there have been excellent examples which have been given. That if I have my infrastructure on a cloud, I do land up saving on the computers, the physical computers that I need to put in place to run multiple applications. I save on the EMC, I save on the power, I save on the cooling, I save on the space, okay, and I save, of course, in terms of the entire procurement cycle. So that's something which we've seen, and we do see that's extremely relevant. My presentation, when I talk about, I would speak more so from what the government is saying, because if I want to adopt cloud in true sense, if I want to see a cloud that reigns, and reigns what? It reigns the government services. That's what I want to see, all the government services gradually moving into a pay-as-you-use model. Then it's a long journey. And then we will see what are the challenges. I mean, of course, again, I also wanted to mention, while initial sessions did have some concerns which were raised with respect to the security, with respect to the privacy of the data. And while I do agree, these are going to be concerns when you know that the citizen data which would be available with the government, if you are not aware as to which location it is, what happens if there is a disaster at that location, how will my data get moved? What will happen if that guy actually closes for some reason or the other? Can I get my data back? So there are a whole lot of questions. But let me tell you, these questions become extremely important when we talk about public cloud. That is, you talk about a cloud environment where you want to use the public service providers trying to give their infrastructure and services on which you want to host and run your data. But if I am talking about what is private cloud per se, that's basically if the government itself is a service provider to the departments, to the citizens, and has the ownership of having the data hosted in their data centers, per se, the scenario is quite different. The security would definitely still be there, but the way it has to be addressed is very different. It is, I would say, a little extension of the practices that we would be doing in a physical environment. It's just that if I am talking about an environment where you have virtualization, that means I have one physical server and I am trying to have that in 5 virtual machines, which means the physical is same, I have multiple operating systems and I have applications running on that. Then how do I ensure that this OS does not somehow go and talk to that? The packet does not leak through between these two. So I'm concerned about from the technology perspective, can I ensure that segregation, that this virtual machine truly behaves like a physical machine? So you have technologies to ensure that. Similarly, now in a cloud environment, if I talk truly of a cloud, just to say, like if you see the topic which was initially given, which talks about virtualization and cloud. I would like to maybe spend half a minute trying to say virtualization is a part of the cloud when you go. While virtualization will allow me to do a resource pooling, it will allow the administrator of that physical machine to automatically manage those resources. However, it does not empower an end user for being able to provision the infrastructure on demand. It does not allow the end user to know how much of resources have I used. Can I just log in and see what is the status? How is my application behaving? Do I have that control with me? Do I know what is the billing that's happening? So those features that you want to empower the end user, because if you are talking about a model which we call pay as you use, like the way you have the utility, water bills, etc., you don't want to really worry about the investment. You get into a pure services model. Then I have to be empowered also. I must be in control of the resources that I am allowed to use. So if I have to get into that model, I have to move from virtualization into the cloud enablement. I'm just trying to give a subtle difference. While virtualization is a component of the cloud part of it. So I was trying to bring those aspects. So if I get into a pay as you use model, there are a whole lot of aspects that I will have to consider. Now, there are a lot of experiments going on across the country. A lot of them are successful. But let us see, if I want to reach what UK is doing, even let me tell you countries abroad, we are very closely seeing US, UK and other countries. Way back 2009, UK started the cloud initiatives for the country. And it's only now they have been able to come up with what they call an app store. It's a demonstrative app store. It's like a pilot for the various government departments. So let me tell you, why is the journey so long? Why is it not possible for you to jumpstart into the whole game and change the way IT works in the country? So let's see that. So trying to see first and foremost, we heard a lot about the kind of benefits I can get if I enable my infrastructure on a cloud environment. And we also saw cloud with infrastructure as a service, platform as a service. Platform basically going beyond the infrastructure. I'm in a position to give you the operating system. I'm able to give you certain development tools available in a resource sharing manner. And then software as a service, example, email if you have. Which can concurrently handle multiple users, not worrying about the physical infrastructure on which that application is residing. That is, I really don't. Today, if you see, what do? If you buy any equipment for any particular project, you identify, okay, I need 10 servers, I need this kind of an operating system, and I need this kind of a database. Now what happens in the peak, and you design the entire thing for the peak hours. You talk about income tax, you talk about MCA, any project for that matter, you want to ensure that during the peak your systems don't crash. So what happens? During the normal operations, you will be using only 10 to 20, 30% of the resources. And it's only during the peak that you optimally use it. This is where, if I am on the cloud environment, as it was mentioned, I don't have to really worry. I don't have to design my systems for the peak. I will say this is my usage pattern and this is how I would be using it. The applications which are cloud enabled are automatically able to have the resources made available below to address the demand as it comes up. So I was just trying to link. Now, if the government decides I want to go in a cloud way for the country. Let me tell you, this presentation is broadly focused on the private clouds. It's a big game in itself. Maybe during question answers we can discuss. On the public cloud, there are a whole lot of other issues that have to be dealt with. You have to think from a very different perspective. Can India be a hub for a public cloud? Or can India be a managed service provider? And I can actually use the public clouds outside India. So how do you address these issues? These are different, we can take up separately. But when I'm focusing what is government doing on the private cloud business, see, the key objective, if I see from the government perspective, is not trying to reduce the cost upfront. We are not looking from that objective. My objective, if I see, is how do I ensure rapid rollout of applications and services across the country. In India, we have successful implementations of applications in different states, different UTs, in silos. And there's a lot of duplication happening. It's only yesterday I was in a VC where we had Gujarat, we had Maharashtra, and Maharashtra has an excellent e-scholarship application. And what I found was Gujarat is talking to Mastech to have that application in their state. We immediately said, why are you getting and duplicating and paying the Mastech for all these efforts? They said, ma'am, because we did not have this meeting earlier. The idea is, had we had this on the cloud environment where I could have shared the same application, that means the features of the applications are such that it can be configured, it can be customized and run immediately without any, efforts. That means like state A comes and there's an application running, state B wants to use it. Today, if I want to get into the development efforts, it's a 2, 3, 4 months time which goes in. But if I have an application on cloud, I'll come to the features of that application later. I can actually run immediately. So I'm just trying to, government perspective is, how do I ensure that these successful applications which are available can be rapidly rolled out? Now you want to move, so that's one of the key objects. While I do this, I want to move from the CapEx to the OpEx model, which in any case, because we've heard a lot in terms of the entire procurement cycle which it takes. Any RFP preparation, whole lot of IT hardware, though we are saying we are under e-governance moving from the project to a services mode. However, even if I buy services from a vendor, the vendor keeps a period for the procurement of the infrastructure, which is almost 6 to 8 weeks time. So it is, even if I move and I have SLAs from the vendor, I'm only shifting the procurement from government not being procuring to the service provider procuring for you. But there is definitely a period which goes in. Now, the other thing is, when I talked about, so I'm talking about applications which, when I said immediately, that means they must have features. I should be able to run it for multiple tenants. So we'll come to that. So that's one key objective. Second, of course, the government is trying to see how do I build a government application store. Something which is available in the cloud environment. If I want to, while I said I want to have a rapid rollout, so this becomes not just a repository where you have only givers to that, but you have a lot of takers in terms of the app store that you're building. which could be productized, which could be downloadable. These are certified applications. You have empaneled agencies. Their rates are available publicly to you, which will allow you to deploy it in your state or run it from that particular cloud environment. So that's another important objective that we are trying to look at. At the end of it, I want to ultimately, what we want to see is a secured, unified cyberspace to provide services on demand. When I say this, what am I seeing? There's a whole lot of infrastructure piece being developed across the country. State data centers, you have national data centers, huge 4 national data centers of NIC, 3 already there, the 4th one coming in Bhubaneswar. You have, so there's and then you have networking. Today you have statewide area networks. We are coming up with the national knowledge network, the gigabit networks, which are going to be connecting the SDCs in the few months' time. You have the NICnet. You have something like the NOFN coming, National Optical Fiber Network, which is coming up. So there is a whole lot of pieces, which means I want to see how in a true cloud environment, can I stitch all of them together? And I am able to, if department A, whether it's the central or the department, goes to the identified agencies, says, I want to now run this application. They don't have to bother either about the networking issues. They don't have to bother about the procurement part of it. They don't have to bother about maintenance and running that. So can I bring all this infrastructure together in a federated cloud, or what we call the integrated cloud, which means I actually uniformly am able to pool resources from one data center into the other data center, use one of the data center as the DR of the other, or use one of the national data centers as the disaster recovery. So that's a big game in itself. In fact, if you see UK, US, they're all getting into the consolidation. So we are talking about consolidation and integration per se to give a unified view. So this is a large vision which we do see work in this direction has started, which I will share with you. And in order to actually have this, what is the kind of governance that I need to have in place? So if you see, the government objective is very clear that I am moving from the services. Normally you move in the cloud from the infrastructure as a service. Here government is trying to ensure that software as a service is not that comes gradually. Can I see using cloud from the software as a service along with, while infrastructure will be implied. Now challenges, if this is a big vision, this is how I want to move ahead, what are the challenges today? I think since we are looking from the services perspective, you want to see how this infrastructure could be used, how the cloud could be used in order to increase the transactions, online transactions in the country. Then first and foremost, I need to see what is the current scenario of the applications across the country. The biggest challenge we see is today, you have multiple solutions for the same application. I saw land records, you have 27 plus different kinds of applications running across the country. You have issues of ownership. I have this application, I own it, I will run it in my data center, it will reside here. So you have larger issues. Hosting, which is of course implied that you want to have it as near your location as possible. Language. These are all language. One is in Tamil, the other one is in Hindi. I mean, if I want to adopt them on the fly, you can't be doing it. There's a lot of customization efforts. We have also studied, in fact, we just studied the recently e-district application in one of the states to see how we could quickly use it on the cloud environment and share it. We found the modules are so closely stitched that it is going to be extremely difficult for us. Similarly, the processes across the different states, the workflows, they are also different. which means the standardization and replicability of that application is a big challenge for us. If I have the vision of rapid rollout, how do I address this vision? How do I ensure that these applications can be converted into a multi-tenant? When I talk about an application, see, in a cloud, in a true sense, you actually have to convert an application into a core, and it has something which we call the configurable metadata, which means I have the presentation which is configurable. State A says, or user department A says, this is the look and feel I want. I should not be coding back to do that. I should be able to do it on the fly. I want in this language. So that piece is moved out from the code actually. And then I should be able to immediately on the fly change that. I have something like 15 workflows, you say, and I say only 10 out of this is what I need, or I don't have an approval process with 5 people. I have something with just 3 of them. How do I change that workflow on the fly? You have issues of access control. Similarly, I actually might say that I want my database setting in my data center. However, your application can run from your national data center. So, which means you need to ensure how do you run in this kind of a scenario. So, these are some of the challenges when you start looking at multi-tenant applications. And let me tell you, today the existing application, there is a big challenge. There could be some applications which we may not be in a position to convert at all. So what will you do under those circumstances? You have different models of hosting them. I might just customize and run another instance of that. That's not a true cloud environment, let me tell you. Because I'm running another instance. So the actual optimization of the resource which ultimately I should be doing, I've not reached. So there's a maturity model in a cloud. I can actually have multiple instances. I can actually have multiple databases. There is the true ultimate cloud solution has a single instance, single database, and a shared schema. But to reach that, I think if you go on the internet, have a look at the development efforts, you will see curves which very beautifully tell you that if you want to convert an application purely into a multi-tenant, an existing application, it shows that the effort curve is much higher, but then the OPEX is very low. So that's where you start getting the benefit once you have it in the multi-tenant. But new applications per se, they should be into the multi-tenant. So this is a change. We need to immediately come up with the framework. Government has to come up and advertise and bring policies in place which will ensure that any new application in the country built for the government will be based on the cloud framework. The other, of course, this connectivity is definitely which has been shared with my previous speakers. It's an important and extremely, because if I talk about anything on the cloud, I want to move my resource from one data center. See, in a cloud, then the end user does not know. In a unified where I have multiple data centers, to them it's a single resource. I could actually be having my load, some part of it running here, some running it here, load moving from here to here, ultimately in the final cloud environment, which means connectivity is an important aspect. We are trying to address this in terms of the government cloud by going ahead with the NKN, National Knowledge Network, which is a gigabit network which is being set up across the country. Another important challenge today, if you look at the standards, the cloud standards, you have a whole lot of players today. I think you have 6 to 7 cloud solutions in the market. Microsoft, VMware, IBM, Cisco, HP, whole lot of players are giving you these cloud solutions. We have tested some of these solutions in our production environment, in our data centers. In order to understand the complexities involved in being able to talk with one cloud talking to the other cloud, which means if I have a workload sitting here, I want to extend that workload to the other cloud. Is that possible, or what are the kind of efforts? Let me tell you today, this is still an area which work is going on. As far as moving your application from one cloud to the other is concerned, see, you have the entire application running in a cloud and you decide you want to move it to the other cloud. And you can have the other cloud, maybe that's a DR which is running on a different cloud. That is possible. You can take these snapshots. There are cloud standards available. You can take that and move. But if I want to manage, say, well, I from an end user perspective or from an administrator perspective, I want to manage the cloud resources of another cloud solution sitting here. If my resources are over, can I say, please provision 4 virtual machines from the another cloud solution provider? It does not straight away work. So what I'm only trying to bring is, these are still challenges. Work is underway, because tomorrow we do see these challenges coming up when we are going to have our state private clouds, state data center private clouds. And I want to ensure that all of them talk to each other. There are ways of handling it. We have, but this is an area which still work is going on. NIST is working, whole lot of other organizations are working. Disaster recovery, again, this is definitely a big challenge, because while you will have, when you move into the cloud, it's going to be a mix and match of physical and virtual. Okay, so disaster recovery, and when you want to have resources which are basically either in the physical environment, which have to be moved into the disaster recovery center, and some of them in the cloud. So how do you handle the two together is a challenge. On the deployment, we've already talked. You talk about a single instance, you want to have multiple instances, location of databases. This is another challenge. Policy, I think this is the biggest challenge. And in fact, we are now trying to set up a task force. In another 4 weeks' time, we would have a big task force in place, which is going to start looking at. We need to come up with a government cloud policy, strategy, architecture, whole lot of stakeholders who are going to be involved, what are their roles and responsibilities. And here, let me tell you, we will have to see an institutional mechanism, because see, there are multiple states, they have their own ownership. You need an entity which sits on top, which is a shared entity, which is able to resolve issues. And so that is where we're looking at the organizational setup, what kind of an entity. You have to look at legal issues also. Maybe the state A may not be in a position to host the data of the state B. So how do you address these aspects? So these are certain things for which the work has just started. And it has been mentioned that privacy, security, these are going to be extremely critical when we talk about the public cloud. And we have Confederation of CII working with the government to try and come up with some kind of a framework in this regard. Broadly, we have a two-pronged approach, the way we are addressing. Let me tell you, we have a short-term and a long-term. In the short-term, next 6 months, we've actually decided that we are taking around 8 to 10 successful applications across the country, going to make them cloud-enabled and run them from specific data centers, which can be used by multiple states, departments, organizations across the country. So what we are doing is, we are converting them into the multi-tenant, running them in the cloud environment. So this is something which has already started, work has started aggressively, and 6 months' time, we would see this happening in the cloud environment. The other, which is a long-term initiative, which is where we are talking about the governance, we're talking about the national clouds, we're talking about the integrated cloud, we're talking about the capacity building. That is an area where we are setting up the task force. We are coming up with the necessary policies in place, and the first initiative will stitch into the second initiative. So government has actually long-term goal in order to address and see the G cloud for the country. There's a lot of POCs going on. In fact, GST has done some work in this area as a test and development environment. You see, cloud is beautiful for trying to use it immediately in the test and development environment. Experimental, in fact, NIC new data center, if you see Shastri Park, that's actually having cloud. Today, the departments can be provisioned. They are giving virtualized environment. The only thing is they are not allowed to provision the resources, though they have the software. So what I just wanted to say, for cloud to reign, what I need the technical framework, institutional, and the legal. When I have all of them together, we do see a great cloud coming up. And let me tell you, the data centers that we have, they're already moving into the phase 2, where we are trying to enable them and provide cloud services. And this is something I can just leave. And with this, thank you very much. And I think I've taken the time for the question answer session also. And thank you.